Now, if we examine the character of Rey in the sequel trilogy, I really do believe that one of the more mysterious aspects of that character is, of course, exactly who her parents really are. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, I wanted to go over the character of Rey in Episode 9. We do know that J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio are changing a lot of elements for the character in order to evolve her significantly in this movie. Now, both Rey and Kylo Ren, these two characters will stand out as different characters in comparison to how they were in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Mainly because of this film having a massive time jump from The Last Jedi itself, so it's said that there will be years between those two movies. So these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, I wanted to go over one that involves Rey, specifically a description of a younger Rey with two older characters, both a female and a male, that deeply resemble Rey. The male has a ponytail and Jedi-like robes, while the female wears a white dress. The male kisses Rey on the forehead and tucks her into bed and walks away. The next goes over the character alone outside of the tent, holding a hologram of a young Snoke without his injuries and showing diagrams of a snowy world under construction. The Snoke hologram also talking to this character is wearing a black cloak rather than the golden robe. The last goes over the Snoke hologram pointing his finger at the character just before it cuts and vanishes. Now, we've been going over this figure for the longest time now, this character that deeply resembles Rey apparently, and has a ponytail, which is indicating that he is indeed Rey's father. Meanwhile, the female character in the white dress is Rey's mother. Now, whether or not Kylo Ren was lying about her parents in The Last Jedi, that they were just junk traders who sold her off for drinking money, I'm not quite sure how much, the truth really is there to that, but looking at the character of Snoke specifically, that hologram that is actually being described, in which the hologram is of Snoke, a younger Snoke without his injuries, and of course a snowy world under construction with a lot of mechanics on it. I believe that that is to be the Starkiller base, as we saw in The Force Awakens. Now, with Supreme Leader Snoke talking to this individual, if these two individuals that deeply do resemble Rey are actually her parents, that would mean that her parents are linked to Snoke himself. And that would be a very interesting angle to Star Wars for sure. Kind of how, if you look at the originals and the prequels, a lot of those characters are really interconnected. Now, a great example of another character that was tied to Snoke is DJ in The Last Jedi. Even though I didn't really like the character all that much, DJ had his ties with the First Order and Supreme Leader Snoke. Was he essentially a quote-unquote ally of Snoke? No, but he also worked for Snoke. The First Order codage goes way back for him. So this could very well be Reys Parents working with Snoke in order to get something in return, a reward perhaps, to get off the planet Jakku maybe? I'm not quite sure. There are a lot of possibilities coming into play here for Episode 9 when it comes to past elements of what happened before the events of The Force Awakens. And that is one aspect of Star Wars that I really believe should be explored in either the form of books, novels, and flashbacks within movies. So, with that being said, this is most definitely a flashback, right? It seems as though that JJ and Chris Terrio are really testing the waters of bringing back Supreme Leader Snoke in some fashion here, to actually have a link with some of our main characters like Rey and Kylo Ren, Luke, Leia. It seems like he's trying to make it go full circle. So with Episode 9, I will say that it seems like JJ is really trying to do something interesting here. He's really trying to have it not only connect to the prequels, the originals, but also the missing links, the missing pieces in the sequel trilogy, where we are actually asking ourselves a lot of different questions, those burning questions that were left unanswered. So with that being said, guys, I'm really hoping that maybe her parents are connected to an actual character that we already know of, where Rey's grandparents, perhaps, are the ones that are actually the real important people in Rey's life. You know, like I said, you know, that theory going around that maybe she's a descendant of the Kenobis, and maybe these parents of hers on Jakku are indeed the, of course, you know, connections to Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. Maybe he had a child, and then that child grew up to have another child named Rey. I could honestly see something like that. But looking at Episode 9, guys, you know, I gotta say, I think that Disney and Lucasfilm, they just have to get this right. They really have to play the cards correctly, and they really do have to step their game up. So, as long as they do things right and execute it perfectly on screen, I think everything will be just fine. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to moon.